Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Audio Stew. In today's episode, you'll be hearing a discussion I had between a few of my exchange student friends. We have Jill, who's from Germany, and Shota, who's from Thailand originally, and then he also moved to Japan, but now he is in America studying. It was a really awesome conversation. We got to talk about each of our cultures and sort of the differences and similarities between them. Um, Really just super engaging and interesting to learn about. And so I hope you guys really enjoy it. We also talk about study abroad and what are some of the challenges and rewards of doing so. So if you ever think of studying abroad, this way you'll have a little bit more perspective on what that's like. And then, yes, finally, we do also talk about the current coronavirus COVID-19 situation and sort of just how it's affecting our personal lives in addition to how it's affecting the people of our home countries. I would also encourage you to stay tuned till after the episode where I will make a few corrections slash comments slash updates on just different things that were said during the discussion. This was recorded roughly 3 weeks ago, so there's a couple updates to different things that were said, but for now, just enjoy and please stick around till afterwards to hear some more. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast today. I am joined by Jill-Sillina and Shota, and unfortunately Johnson couldn't. Something was messed up with his audio, so I'm gonna have to record him separately. Hopefully that'll work out, and I can just add it in afterwards. So it'll be kind of like a discussion with us and then a brief discussion with Johnson. But to get things started, why don't we go with Shota? Why don't you go first? I want you to introduce yourself, like say like your name, like your full name, your country, your major, like your family, anything we should know about you. But do like a really brief summary of like just a very brief introduction of yourself, but do it in your own language. Does that make sense?
In my own native language, you mean?
You have to do it in Thai. Just introduce yourself in Thai
Well,
or
is it okay if I
Japanese
introduce in Japanese? Yeah.
if it's easier in Japanese. Yeah, go for it.
どうもこんばんは。鈴木翔太と申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。Now, can I say it in English?
Yeah. So give us the actual. What did you say?
So I said, my name is Shota Suzuki. Nice to meet you. And that's really brief.
Okay, good. Okay, so your name is Shota. Where are you from, Shota? You've lived in a
Well,
few different
my
places.
nationality. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
You've lived in a few different places, so it might be a little bit confusing, but just you explain.
Yeah, as Kurt says, I was living in multiple countries, and my nationality is Japanese, but I was born and raised in Thailand, and I am currently studying aviation at University of Nebraska at Kearney. My father is Thai and my mother is Japanese, and I am the only child in my family, which technically speaking, I have a dual citizenship of both Thai and Japanese.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything else we should know about you, Shota? Or is that good?
Well,
Just like a fun fact,
if I
maybe.
were to know more about me, I have so many hobbies. Like, I enjoy watching videos or actually driving cars, flying airplanes. I also enjoy reading. And my favorite sports are karate. I'm a black belt and
Ooh,
I've been swimming for more than 10 years.
wow. You've been doing a
Yeah.
lot. That's crazy. I've done like nothing. Um, awesome. Okay, Jill, why don't you introduce yourself in your own language briefly?
Hi, mein Name ist Jill-Sillina. Ich komme aus Deutschland. Yeah, I said, hi, my name is Jill-Sillina and I'm from Germany.
Nice. Okay. Um, Jill, okay, you said you're from Germany. What is your major? What's some stuff about your family and just anything else we should know about you? Just kind of introductory stuff.
Okay, so my major is sports communication, and I also work as a sports reporter in Germany. And as Shota, I am the only child in my family.
Oh, you too. We're both
Yes,
only childs. High five.
high five.
I I am the second youngest of 6 kids in my family, so I am not an only child.
Wow.
I have a big family. Awesome. Jill, is there anything else we should know about you?
I can tell you my hobbies. I enjoy horse riding and dancing and singing. And I did ballet for more than 10 years.
Wow.
So,
Good grief. I so normally I joke when I start these about like having people on who are qualified, to talk about things or whatever. And I always be like, yeah, I have no qualifications because I haven't done anything. But good grief, you guys have done a lot. You've like dance, horse riding, swimming. And I like, I don't know, I did baseball one year when I was like 12 or something. Like I've done nothing. That's crazy.
That's still good for you because because I'm mostly I mostly did like individual sports like swimming and karate and a bit of a jogging or running. You did baseball, but I'm actually bad at baseball. In fact, when it gets to ball sports,
It's
I'm
just
out.
you can't do anything.
I
I
cannot
feel
do
that.
anything.
I can't do anything in basketball. I'm so bad at it. I actually
I've
have
never,
done I have done things in my life, but just, not things for 10 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Jill?
maybe, maybe you were just too busy with all your siblings.
Oh, that's a very good point. That's that's why I had to keep track of my older siblings that, keep them in check from getting out of trouble. Um Awesome. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about culture, in addition to a couple different other things. But I wanted to start with talking about culture, and I can try and interject a little bit as far as what like American society is like, if you guys don't know or if you're curious. Um, but in general, I'm going to be mostly just talking to you two and curious what you guys have to say about your own culture because most people listening to this already know what American culture is like, if that makes any sense. Um, so to start with, I don't care which one of you goes first, but I want to know. So we have Germany, and then Shota. Do you want to? You said you grew up more in Thailand, right?
Yeah. So about your culture question,
Yeah,
my talk could be quite long if
yeah.
that's okay.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. What Shota? You grew up. When did you move to Thailand? Just to clarify, real quick.
Born and raised until I was 15. And then from 16, I moved to a boarding school in Japan.
Oh, okay. So you were
Yeah.
born in
And
Thailand.
raised.
Okay, and then you moved to Japan. Okay, I got you now. So I'm gonna leave that up to you. Actually, no, I'm not because I already talked with Keitro about Japanese culture. So if you could remember, let's talk about Thai culture. Whenever
Okay.
you talk. But yeah, first question in regards to either Germany or Thailand. What is family like in your home country? Like, are your grandparents and cousins and stuff? Are you guys all really connected or not really? What are kind of like family expectations as far as caring for each other? Like, Are you more expected to be independent? Are you supposed to care for your parents? Um, Questions like that. So just wherever you want to go from there, talking about family in your culture.
So I think family in Germany is really important, but I'm more close to my parents and to my grandparents, and I don't do things with my cousins or with my uncles very often. I just see them on birthdays or yeah, something like that, or on Christmas or Easter. But with my grandparents and my parents, I'm very close, and I see them at least once a week, and yeah,
You see your grandparents once a week?
yes.
Oh
So
wow.
they live very close. I just need to walk like 5 minutes to get
Okay.
to them. So
Is that like both sides of your family, like your mom's or your mom's parents and your dad's parents, or just like one of them?
it's more with my mom's grandparents
Okay.
because so when I grew up, my mom was very busy with working, so I spent most of my time with my grandparents, and so they were like my actually like my real parents
Yeah.
because I had to take care of me. Yeah, I spent a lot of time with them. So
Is that do you think that's common at all in Germany to have things like that, or is that just
I think it's really common. So all my friends, they are also very close with their grandparents. I guess it also depends on the family. So maybe in one families you do more things together with your cousins as well.
mm-hmm.
But parents and grandparents are very important in Germany.
Okay. Do you have like I know in Japan when I was talking with Keitro, they have like a different type of language. I don't remember what it's called, like a different dialect or whatever to address their elders. Does Germany have that at all? Like, is it more respectful or is it just kind of the same?
Okay, so you mean when I talk to my family members?
No, when you talk to your grandparents, like older people.
Okay, so I talk to my grandparents as I would talk to my friends.
Okay.
So it's not like I have to use different words and be very polite to them. It's just very casual and just, yeah, as I would talk to friends.
Okay. That's cool. Um, Shota, what about you? What do you think family is like in Thailand?
Well, every family, despite the country, differs, and according to my part of the family in Thailand is that we have a strong connection with our extended families, and especially with all my uncles and aunts. They actually live in a town about an hour away from or two by car from Bangkok, Thailand, where my parents live. And whenever
Mm-hmm.
I have a school holiday or whenever my parents have don't have work off, like whenever they are on vacation, I can see that they always try to spend time with our extended families and show care for each other, especially giving attention to grandparents, cousins, nephews, and nieces. And yeah, obviously, we spend time together during our vacation times.
So it's a lot more connected, you would say, with your
Yeah,
extended
I would
family.
say.
Do you have the um, dialect of like the formal or like respectful address in Thailand for your
both
elders?
in both in Thai and Japanese language, it can like vary depending on whom are we speaking to. Like if our let's say for example, if I'm talking to a guy who is at least a year older or at least have 1 year experience in our work or study field, we have to
Mm-hmm.
use a different language compared to our same age friends or younger friends.
Okay. Um, Another question for either of you. Uh, in your culture, do do families like Shota? You said your extended family is more connected. Do they ever live
Yeah.
together? So, like, do your cousins or your grandparents live in the same house that you grew up in, or
Well, actually, no.
no?
We live and grew up in a separate house, but we always try to find time to try to get together.
Okay, gotcha. I think that's in Spanish culture. That's a common thing where grandparents will live with the family. Um, Awesome. So what about society? So in America, it kind of depends on where you are. Um, I would say in the Midwest, which is kind of like the central part of America, people are generally more open. They're more friendly. Um, you driving in Nebraska is you'll notice things like people like give you like the finger wave or whatever while you're driving. That's a very common thing. But if you were to go to one of the coasts, so either West Coast or East Coast, generally you get to a lot bigger cities, and in bigger cities, people are a bit more reserved, kind of like focused just on themselves. So that might be just a dynamic of like big city versus small city. But what would you say in your country, like, are people in general, are they more friendly? Are they more reserved? Do they like say hi to you on the street even if they don't know you, or do they just don't talk at all? Things along those lines.
In Germany, the people are definitely more reserved. So I would never say hi to a stranger on the street.
Oh, really?
And yeah, never. So we would never do it. So I think the Germans are more like focused on themselves and not very open. They are friendly, but not very open. And it's like you don't want to talk to someone on the street. You just want to do your own things and don't want to talk to anyone. And you would also never ask someone like, "Hi, how are you?" So if you would see someone that you know, you would just say hi and
Mm-hmm.
nothing more.
Hmm. So most of the time it's like I don't need to like start a conversation with you. Like if I know you, I will acknowledge that you exist, but then just kind of move on. Is that sort of
I mean, when you meet a good friend, you will talk to them, of course, or a
yeah.
family member, but people that you just know a little bit or strangers, you would never talk to them.
Okay. I guess that what how big is the town that you grew up in, Jill?
I think there are about 300,000 people.
Okay. So that's like for me where I grew up, that's like that is a really a really small big city for me. Like that's the smallest of big cities for me.
Yeah,
So
but yeah.
I would say yeah, and that you maybe have more people reserved and friendly, but I don't know. Okay, so in general though, you think more reserved.
Yeah, it also depends a little bit on where you are in Germany. So I'm from the north, and I think in the south the people are more friendly, but you would still don't say hi, how are you to a stranger.
Hmm. Why do you think that is? Do you have any idea? Why do you think that people are more reserved versus being friendly?
I think it's so the Germans are very busy and they are working really hard and they always want to be on time. And I think it's just because lots of people don't have much time and they just sometimes they're very stressed or they have to do a lot of things, and I think they're just focused on themselves because of that.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean that's how a lot of places are in America too, where people are just like, I have to get to work on time, and that's kind of all they're focused on. But that makes sense. Shota, what do you think about Thailand? Are people more reserved or more friendly?
Generally speaking, Thailand is a country of smiles, which means society there is very friendly. But unlike the Nebraskan cultural society you mentioned, many
Mm-hmm.
people are reserved, as in, like, they don't really smile and wave or say hello to strangers. It's just that this kind of a smiling society happens only among people we know, at least acquaintance or friend. Yeah, I'll say at least acquaintance. We always use this smiling culture. And also we set a very high value of the forgive and forget etiquette, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but do you want to explain what you mean?
Well, even if somebody were to make a really small mistake, that is not a big deal. Even I have recognized that Americans will just let it go, say it's not a big deal, it's not a big mistake. And Thailand is somewhat similar to that. It's just that they smile and forgive easily and say, don't worry, there's always next time and stuff. Yeah, which is what I mean by forgiving and forgetting about the mistakes is also the biggest etiquette we keep to ourselves.
Okay. Jill, what do you think about Germany as far as forgive and forget, since Shota brought it up?
It depends on the mistake that you did. So I think it's not really the same. I think some Germans are very, so when you make a mistake, they would be very angry for a long time.
Hmm.
So it's not like, oh no, it's okay, you good. So I think it's not quite the same.
So okay, let's say we were walking on the street, okay, and I accidentally bumped into you. Is that just like no big deal, or what do you think?
It depends on the person. So someone would just say, "Oh no, you're fine, it's okay." But some people would get very angry and would just say something that is maybe not very friendly to you. But I think some people would say something.
Hmm. Has that ever happened to you? Like walking in Germany, did you ever bump into someone or something similar to that, and they got really mad at you?
Yes, for example, so during Christmas, we have like the big Christmas markets in Germany, and it's very, very busy. And I bumped into a guy, and he had like a hot drink,
Ooh.
and so yeah, some of his drink was on his hand, and he was like, so he was very angry, and he was like screaming to me,
Hmm.
like,
Oh my
"What the
goodness.
hell were you thinking?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry." So
That's
yeah,
cruel.
yeah.
Shota, what if what a similar situation in Thailand? Do you think it'd be the same? Would he start if you bumped into someone, spilled their hot drink? Would they start cussing you out, or would they? What would they do?
Well, actually, the example you brought up about accidentally bumping into each other, that actually kind of
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of how dangerous Thailand is. As in, like, someone can intentionally can like bump onto you actually intentionally, so that they are actually aiming for your possession, like your valuables, your phone, your wallet.
Oh.
Some people can group up and actually one person can bump onto a victim, and then also they seem like they're like peacefully forgiving each other, and they say, oh no, it's okay, no big deal. And then while that victim is talking to that that person, another person who is on that team might go and secretly try to pickpocket.
Hmm. I see.
I know many
So
of these cases that happen in Bangkok, especially the capital city which I lived in.
okay,
The
you lived in
city
a
itself is
really big
dangerous.
city then. How big is
Yeah,
Bangkok? Do you know how many people?
at least 5 million. I
Okay.
don't know the exact numbers, but at least 5 million.
So basically what you're saying is there's a lot of friendly faces, but there's also still some shady people who might, try and steal from you and
Yeah.
things like that.
Hmm.
Okay. I would so I, it's so weird. Like I think it really depends on where you live in America. Like across the world, okay, no matter where you go, you're going to run into people who get really angry really easy, right? And you'll also run into people who are super chill and it's like, it's fine, you didn't mean to. But I'd say in America, it really just depends on where you live. Like me personally, if someone bumped into me and spilled my drink, like if it was just on my hand, I'd be like, that's hot. No, 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 you're fine. You're fine. I'm sorry. And, but then, if they spilled it on my shirt and it's all over my clothes and stuff, I might be like panicking a little bit, but still, me personally, I'd just be like, all right, they didn't mean to, it is what it is. How about a fun thing? Okay. What makes your culture unique? Um, So like in America, there's a lot of like the stereotypes, right? So the stereotypes for America are things like football, hot dogs, a lot of celebrities, patriotism, like go America. Like that's kind of you know, at least from my perspective, that's what I think about when people like make stereotypes about America. Um,
Don't forget French fries.
French fries, I mean, yeah, French fries, freedom, the guns, Second Amendment, those are all kinds of things that like people associate with America. So what would you say, what do you think people associate with your country? Like what are stereotypes in your country? And then like what is life actually like? Like are those stereotypes true? Um or things like that. I don't know much about Thailand, like, because I don't know if we talk about Thailand a lot in America. We don't talk about Germany a lot either. I think people generally think, though, Germany is more um, stoic, I think. So, like, people are, like, very, like, not as emotional or something. That's probably the only stereotype I think that we have from America that I can think of off the top of my head. But what is society actually like in regards to those things?
I wouldn't say that people from Germany are not very emotional. I mean, they are emotional, but okay, maybe the problem is that they cannot show it very well. Um, and yeah, so I think everyone associates with Germany beer, potatoes, Oktoberfest, and also soccer. Um, but actually, the Oktoberfest is just in the south of Germany, so in the north or middle of Germany, we don't celebrate the Oktoberfest, and I've never been to the Oktoberfest, but I think everyone thinks that in Germany we just eat pretzels and drink beer and wear those leather pants, but it's not like that. And also, the
Okay.
Oktoberfest is just for 4 weeks in the year, and on the other days you would not wear like the leather pants and dildos and all those kind of things. So, but I think all the people they when they think about Germany, they think, okay, yeah, they just wear those things all the time, and but it's not like that. We wear normal clothes.
It's like the what's the classic like the white shirt with like the suspenders and the green or something. Is that what
Yes.
the stereotype is? I might be
Yeah, I
confusing. I think that's what you got, like a hat on, maybe. I don't know.
yes, with a feather on the side.
Y-
But
Yeah, yeah.
it's yeah, but it's just in south of Germany,
Okay.
so we don't celebrate Oktoberfest in the north.
So what is it actually like? Like a daily life.
In Germany, in general,
Mhm.
I think it's quite the same as in America. So people go to work or to university or to school, and after that, they're doing their hobbies and meet friends. So it's not very different from the life here in the US.
So you have your own. I mean, every culture has their own traditions and stuff, but in general, you think it's pretty similar to America.
Yeah, I mean, we have kind of this, so we celebrate Christmas like people in America. So it's not really a big difference.
Okay. Do you guys have Thanksgiving? I don't,
No, we
no,
don't have
no, no. I'm
Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry. That was a stupid question. That's only in America. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
Shota, what do you think? Stereotypes in Thailand. What do people normally associate?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by the stereotypes in Thailand because we usually don't use that term compared to America. But I believe that I've mentioned on on the previous question that Thailand has a high value of our specific etiquette or specific society and culture.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to answer your question about how unique Thailand is that at least 90% or more of the Thai citizens have a Buddhist religion. So if you go to Bangkok, Chiang Mai, or wherever city, there are Buddhist temples everywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And what's more, you could see Buddhist monks walking on the streets out of nowhere. They just like appear out of nowhere.
Hmm.
This is how conservative about Buddhist religion Thailand are. And also, the Thai national anthem is played daily at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Oh, really?
Like officially through radio, TVs, and any other media connections. And once that national anthem is played, and if every citizens that hear this national anthem at those two times of the day, all citizens should stand still if possible. I
Hmm.
know it's impossible while driving, or I know it's impossible yeah, I'll use driving as an
Yeah.
example. If you're not driving and if you can hear this national anthem somewhere in the speakers or where the media is connected, we all have to stand still to show respect.
Okay. So you think both so religion and patriotism are both very high
Oh,
values.
yeah, right. Patriotism.
Okay.
In Germany, we never play the national anthem just for soccer games. So before a soccer game, yeah, but we would never play it like on every day or for, yeah, it's really just, no, it's really just before soccer games.
Well, soccer games in Thailand, of course, but yeah, nearly every time. It shows how Thai people are really respecting their mother country and
Mm-hmm.
stuffs.
We don't. So we also play our anthem before most sporting events. That's pretty universal, I think. Other than that, like we don't play the anthem a lot, but like kids in schools, in some places still do like Pledge of Allegiance every day. So like they pledge allegiance to like the flag of America. But that depends on the school. I think some people implement it, other people don't. But
And by speaking of that, Thailand actually pledge allegiance to the monarchy, like the king of Thailand, and wherever that actually happens while the school has its starting ceremony. And this may sound surprising, but in movie theaters and cinemas, before the movie starts, we all have to stand up for pledging allegiance to the monarchy of Thailand. Does
What?
that sound surprising?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It
Before a
sounds
movie in
surprising,
the
isn't it?
theater?
But yeah, but it's actually true.
What?
And in some concerts or dramatic shows, when people gather and sit down, we always pledge allegiance to the monarchy.
Wow.
My big question is that apart from maybe at schools, or yeah, as Kurt mentioned, many students pledge allegiance to the flag at schools before
Hmm.
all the class start. Are there any other occasions where pledging of allegiance is conducted in America?
Um, Off the top of my head, no. That's generally the most common thing you'll see. I would I would maybe say there maybe is like a some for like some government proceedings they might do that. Um, but really, it's not that common. I don't know. Patriotism in America is kind of different. It's so what you're describing is very structured, right? You have, okay, we're gonna play the anthem this time, say the pledge at this time. Like it's constant. It sounds like. Um, in America, it's more of a general attitude. I think like so we maybe like we'll play the anthem before a sport, right? But outside of that, we have things like people have the American flag in front of their yard. Um, we even we wear it on our clothes. We have American flags on our clothes. Um, People, you know, make like they make jokes about like the bald eagle or things like that, or we have all these like symbols that are very common, like the eagle, the flag, like Liberty Bell, White House, all those things. And those are very like, we don't have like a set time to be like, let's listen to the anthem or whatever, but it's kind of just everywhere. Like there's patriotism everywhere, I guess. And people just in general love being here, I think. And so that's why, and especially there's some people who like America has a lot more freedoms than a lot of countries. So another common thing, is like guns. Like to us, like guns in America, that's like patriotism, right? So if you're from Texas, like all about the guns, and so those are kind of things where like people love America, people want to defend America, in general. But I don't know, we don't have like the same structure at all that I think Thailand does in that regard.
In Germany, you would never see a German flag in the yard in front of a house.
Really?
There are no flags,
Hmm.
really, nowhere. And we would never have clothes with our flags on it. I mean, if I see American clothes with the American flag, I think it's cool, but I would never wear this with my German flag.
That depends also on who you are. um I think some of the older generation um might think that that's disrespectful to have that on your clothing. um to and so that's a little bit iffy, but I think a lot of the younger generation is like just everything red, white, and blue. 4th of July, that's a huge celebration in America, right? So I don't know, it's I don't think it's as formal, but it's a very strong attitude of patriotism. The military is also very like people associate that in America with patriotism as being in the army or the Marines or like being a Navy SEAL or something like that.
Jill, would you
Yeah.
like to explain like what the colors of the German flag represent?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I really don't know. So we have black, red, and gold, but I never thought about the meaning of the colors. So I
Oh,
really
really?
don't, yeah, I really don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
I
it's
see.
because I think it's because people are not very into our flags because I think it's because of the history of the German history that people are not like, oh, I have to show my flag. And so actually we also never talked in school, like in our history classes, about our flag. So
Oh,
I really don't know. So but it's a good question. So but I really never thought about it.
I see.
Does Thailand have some unique meaning associated with the colors, their Shota?
Of course, and Japan too.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What is in
Okay,
Thailand?
first I'll explain about the color meaning of the flag of Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Does both of you know what does the flag of Thailand look like?
I do not, off the top of my head, know what it looks like.
Wait a second.
Oh, okay. You have a picture of it. I could just Google it too, but I mean, sure.
Okay, guys. So what I've brought here with me is the actual flag of Thailand.
Oh, okay. So wait, yours
So,
is red, white, and blue also.
yep, red, white, and blue, just like the states, but I
Okay.
think the colors are different. The red of the Thai flag represents the blood of the Thai citizen, and the white
Mm-hmm.
represents the Buddhist culture, like the Buddhist religion. They are mostly represent as. Although, if you when I say Buddhist religion, many people think of it as a gold color, but actually, the according to the Buddhist religion scriptures, many Buddhist servants all wore white robes, which is why they use white as the Buddhist representing color. And the blue represents monarchy,
Hmm.
the kings and queens of Thailand.
So the flag in America, um, I did. My memory is a little bad. We did talk about this in high school. Um, as far as symbols go, like you have obviously there's 50 stars on the flag which represent the 50 states, and then there are 13 stripes which represent the original 13 colonies. So those symbols most people know. In regards to colors, it's not the same as Thailand, I know that for sure. I believe the colors are just supposed to be representative of like very common associations with colors. Um, I don't think that there's a specific meaning to some of them. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to go back and look. But like white is generally associated with peace, and so that's why there's white on the flag. And then red and blue also have meanings that I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say like uh I don't know, not royalty because that's generally purple. Um maybe freedom. Freedom I think is one of them, and I don't remember off the top of my head. But there are meanings I think associated with the colors, but they're not the same as Thailand.
Gotcha. Both of you know what Japan flag look like, right?
Yeah, it's the big old red dot in the white flag. Wait, are
Yeah,
there?
that
Yeah, yeah, that's
red
right.
circle in the Japan flag represents the sun. It's mostly like Japan that time was considered the first Asian country to receive the sun from the east, which is
Mm.
why if you write Japan in Chinese characters, it's like sun and the base. So it's like the base of the sun, the country
Oh,
that has the base of the sun, and that's why the flag represents the sun.
that's very cool. We did not talk about that with Keiichiro, so we got a new Japanese fact. Nice. Ready for this question? Okay. What is one thing about American society that you like better than your own society? If you really can't think of one, say none. But
I really like that the people just a stranger would talk to you on the street and just say something to you, and yeah, I really like that.
okay.
I would like to have this in Germany, like just talk to some people and say hi, how are you, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
And that, I think that still depends on where you live in America, but definitely in the Midwest, that is a very common thing. What about you, Shota? What's one thing you like more about America culture?
What I really like about American culture is that people know how to talk each other very well. In fact, they are very good conversationalists. Not just that, but what Americans care about the most, according to my point of view, is diversity. Not just diversity about the difference of nationalities, but difference of races as well,
Mm-hmm.
especially whenever we try to register ourselves, like our names, our personal information to, let's say, the state of Nebraska when we apply for a driver's license. And not just that, but when we apply for nearly everything here
Mm-hmm.
into an official document, they also even ask our race.
Mm.
And the part that they try to ask our race could mostly mean that for for my understanding is that many Americans respect each other's races.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where the heritage is very, in general, people make it a point to, you know, where you're from matters. Um, like you, America is America is a little bit unique because it's sort of like it. Mm, it's sort of like a melting pot where like kind of like a little bit of the whole world was kind of like all in America, just because you see a whole bunch of different people from different countries. And I don't know, is that like that in your countries too? Are there a lot of foreigners in your country, or is it mostly just Germans and just Thai people, or are there a lot of other people as well?
We have people from other countries as well, but most of the people in Germany are Germans. And for example, when I had to fill out all the documents to come here, I was really wondered about the question about my race, because in Germany, no one would ask you that question.
Hmm. Um, I'm trying to think. So, is that the one that, because they usually ask two questions? They ask where you're from, and then like your race, which is kind of confusing because sometimes that's talking about like a specific culture, and sometimes that's talking about like your skin color. So that's a little bit confusing. I don't even totally. I'm trying to remember what like if I had my driver's license out, I'd it would probably ask my race and it'd probably just say white. I would assume, um, but I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. I don't totally get that. I like what Shota's talking about, how people want to respect that, like where you're from matters, but also I don't know if we actually do that. Like it's a little bit confusing. What's one thing you like better about your own society?
Well, in Japan, I'm not quite sure if Keiichiro told you this, but what I really like about Japanese culture and society is that many people value time very much. Like, if I were to give an example, Japanese public transportations are so punctual that if the bus or the train or whatever public transport you think of arrives or departs 1 minute late, 1 minute late, the crew apologizes to the passengers.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
I'm not quite sure about other countries, but in America, if public transport arrives late, they just think it's the norm. But
Mm-hmm.
in Japan, that is abnormal. You have to be at least on time or early. Because if in Japan, even if you were to go to a meeting or if you were to meet someone at a specific time, even if you're like at least even 5 minutes late is a very big deal.
Hmm.
We might, in worst case, we might lose trust
Hmm.
like among each other. So
Yeah, America, it depends. Um, in general, not as like it really depends on what you're doing. So like if we were to schedule like, hey, let's come hang out. Um, if you're 10 minutes late or something like that, if it's one of your friends, it's gonna be like, all right, whatever, dude, it's fine. Just meet me when you get there. But if you are 10 minutes late to like a job interview, you're probably not getting the job. Like, so it depends a little bit on what it is, I think. Um, but you like the more punctual part in Japan and Thailand.
yeah, actually, when I was a freshman here at UNK, I was arriving at events or classes at least 10 minutes before, and I feel like many people are way behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and that made me, like, right now start to become loose among punctuality. I arrived like 1 or 2 minutes before,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought if I go back to Japan, if I'm like this,
It's just gonna
I
go.
might face
It's
a
gonna go
problem.
bad.
So I might have to, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of that way. Although I respect punctuality.
Yeah, in general, I mean, I'm never. I shouldn't say never. I'm very rarely am I ever like late to class, but a lot of times I will come in with like 1 minute before class starts. Like it's just, and it depends. Like if I have time, then like I'll leave early. But a lot of times I'm doing other stuff, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll have to go to class now. It's not like I better make sure I better be at class on time. That might depend a little bit on who you are in America, but in general, not as
Mhm.
punctual, I would think.
You were my classmate last semester, right, for history
Mm,
class.
yeah,
That's what happens to me if you live in the States for at least 2 years, if you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Well, sometimes you were like, I think early on in the semester, if I remember right, you were like one of the first ones there, and then like as the semester went on, it was like, oh no, Shota's late again or something like that. I don't know if that's right, but
Yeah. Yep, that's completely true.
okay.
The same happened to me. So in my first week, I was always on time. I was there around 10 minutes before the class started. But then I just I just arrived 1 minute
Hmm.
before class. Or yeah,
Is Germany as punctual, you would say?
Germans are they always so they really like to be on time. But for example, the public transportations, they
Hmm.
are not always on time, and they would never apologize when they are 1 minute late or 2 minutes late. For example, the trains, like for Deutsche Bahn, they are very, very, very late, very often, like 2 hours or 5 hours.
Oh,
And
5 hours?
5 hours
yeah,
late? What?
I had that last year. I was visiting a friend, and on my trip to my friend and on my trip back home. So I had 2 hours a delay for two
Hmm.
hours, and on the way back it was 5 hours.
Was that
And
for
Oh my
was that for
goodness.
an airplane
yeah,
or like a bus?
no, it was a train.
A train. Wow.
Yes. Also for a bus, I was waiting 4 hours for a bus once in the rain,
Oh,
and
oh no. Oh
no one
no.
will apologize.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, it is.
I don't I think in America if something is like severely late, you'll probably get an explanation. So like if like if you were riding the subway, uh, and this is me speaking from Nebraska, where there are no like the only subways around here they sell sandwiches. Um, but if you were to go to a subway in like a train in big city, like you'll probably get an explanation like, oh, why did the train stop early or something. Like someone will come on and be like, hey, this is what's wrong, we'll fix it, sorry. But it's like a kind of like in between maybe where you might get an explanation, but not necessarily like a it's not a huge deal kind of.
Yeah, so we also get an explanation, but yeah, you have to deal with it. And the driver of a bus or the driver of a train, they would not say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and oh,
Hmm.
it just yeah.
Jill, what's one thing you like more about Germany than America?
One thing I like more about Germany is that people are more honest. So I always feel like when someone is asking me, "How are you?" and I would say, "Oh, I'm not good," they don't want to know the reason. So I
Mm,
think they're just saying it. It's just like, "Hi, how are you?" It's just like they just say hello in this
mhm,
way. But when you would tell them, "Oh, I'm not good," and then you would give them an explanation, I think they wouldn't care about it.
mm. Okay. Yeah, it's yeah, no, I totally understand what
Maybe
you're saying though.
maybe that's the reason why Germans don't ask it, because they don't want to know, so they don't ask you.
That's a very good point. Like some like if you're gonna ask how are you, like and they look like they're kind of sad, maybe don't ask how are you or something like, you know, unless you want to like help or something, you know. Hmm. I think I have to agree with you on that one. I wish people the one thing that drives me nuts like is when someone asks, you know, how's it going and they say like good and then they ask back how's it going and you say good and then they
Yeah,
just
I
move
mean
on.
that's so stupid.
No, I kind of agree with you. Like it on one it's kind of like just unnecessary like casual like formalities like it's just usually what we say to start a conversation.
Yeah,
um
to start a conversation, but then the conversation ends after that
yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah. Or they don't
So
actually talk about how they're feeling, they just talk about, you know, the football game or something else that's not related because they don't want to know. That is one thing I don't always like about America is a lot of times people don't care about what's going on necessarily like with your personal life. Like I mean your friends do a lot of times, but just in general, like if someone were to ask you how are you, they don't really want to know how are you or they just kind of want to know like just it's just social society has just made it acceptable that the answer is just good because we don't want to like disturb the peace or anything like that. So if you were to ask someone, you know, how are you? And they would say, actually, I had a really crummy day. I was just late to class and then my dog died and then all these other things. And they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they'd probably just like say something and then try and walk away. Like that's kind of how it is in a lot of cases, I would say.
yeah, once I talked to a girl that I know from a class, and I was sick at that time, and she asked me, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, not so good." But she did not reply to that
She just
and
kept going.
didn't say anything. And I was like, "Okay." It was confusing.
Well, it is because most Americans don't know how to respond when the answer is not good. Like, because if it's like, how are you? Oh, I'm doing bad. Then suddenly you have to realize, like, oh no, I just asked them a question. I didn't actually want to know. Hmm.
Yes.
I don't know. It's a little bit weird. I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I think that's kind of stupid. Like it's weird because I like how in general people want to stay positive. Like I think that's good, but I wish that people wouldn't lie. So like even if like cuz me personally if someone were to ask how are you and I'm not doing well, like I might say good because I don't want to talk about it and neither do they, right? But if I actually did want to talk about it, I would probably say something like, it's I'm actually not doing so great right now, but I we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. Cuz then there's a lot of people they don't actually want to talk about it, but if it is someone like who cares about you, then you can have an honest discussion, but in general like I think that's probably not as common.
I mean, as I said, I like the fact that people are more open in the States and they would just talk to you. But yeah, I just wished it would be more honest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Shota, you have anything like that in Thailand?
In Thailand, there is a similar situation of that, as many people are honest with each other. But instead of greeting each other and after that we ask, "How are you?" According to my point of view, I think people just finish their greeting with just a hello or a good day or a good morning. They
Mm-hmm.
barely ask, "How are you?" unless they are like really close friends or good friends, I
Okay.
suppose. Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for this question? Which
Ready
one?
for what?
You ready for this? Okay. Which one do you like better? If you had to pick,
Okay.
which culture? Your own culture or America?
Actually, I like American culture more than both Japan and Thailand.
You would pick America?
Yeah.
All right. Shota picks America.
Oh, I would go with America too.
You would also do America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that for both of you?
Well, for me personally, I think it's just because I lived so many years in Germany and it's nice to have something different and new. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like more interested in the American culture. So that's why I would pick it. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Shota, why would you pick America?
Well, as mentioned, Americans respect each other's diversity and they are really good conversationalists. And also, what I've noticed about the big difference between Asian cultures like Japan and Thailand and America is that America has only, well, technically two languages, English and Spanish. Well, generally English, but English
Mm-hmm.
has only one type of
Yep.
language. But both Japan and Thailand have languages that are used to show respect and being polite to others, to those that are older than you. If I were to be honest with you, I don't really like that culture because we are all human beings and we all deserve to be treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
And the Japanese, especially in the Japanese culture of having to respect someone who has more experience or are older than you, if our relation could be really close, why bother use a language that has to show respect to others? It's
Uh,
like keeping a distance to each other, and that doesn't really, show our love and affection towards others.
hmm.
It may sound great as if like we all, as a human being, we all want to be respected, and we all want to have a high self-esteem. But I would consider a true respect and high self-esteem is that we both are, you know, our relationship is most important.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if we are all the same human beings, we all deserve to be treated equally, and we all deserve hugs. And
Okay.
the way of speaking, the way of the language used in, especially in the Japanese language, that kind of like affection towards others cannot really be seen,
Hmm.
which is why I love American culture the best.
I do. I like how there are so in America there are a lot of like terms of endearment or whatever. So like your grandpa or grandma, you don't necessarily have to be formal with them. In fact, you might have like a special name for them where you call them like Nana or Papa or things like that. Um, I would say like I like how there are I like to show respect to people who are older than me. So like I will a lot of times call, especially like if I'm working or something, like if there's a man who's older than me, I'll say like hello sir or yes ma'am. Like sir and ma'am. That's kind of like the only two like more respectful terms I guess that you might use for an older person. But in general, it's more friendly because I like showing respect to people who have more experience than me. That's kind of like for me that makes me a little bit more humble because I'm like I've only been around the world. I've only been here for 20 years, where my grandma has been here for 80 years, right? She's been here 4 times longer than I have. So there's a certain amount of respect of like I should, you know, she probably knows what she's talking about, like cuz she's been around for a long time. But also the friendliness, I think if you lose that in the respect, then it's probably not a good thing. So,
I would refer to sir and ma'am to obviously older person that are usually strangers or acquaintances or university professors. But like grandparents are obviously their families. No matter how many years we've lived together, as long as you've shown your grandparents enough respect, I think it's already enough to like, you know, treat each other as if we are really close friends or really good family member.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
no, that's cool. Um, it's getting a little bit late, and I still had a couple of things I wanted to talk about, so we won't spend as much time on them. Um, I think that's enough talking about culture. We got some good perspectives. So both of you are a part of study abroad, right? So Jill, you're here for 1 year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then Shota, you're do you have a 4 year Shota? Is that right?
Yes, I am an F1 student and my plan is to graduate next May.
Okay. Got you. Um so your situation is a little bit different because a common thing is you spend 1 semester or 1 year in a different country for study
Yeah.
abroad. But I'm curious, um, why did you guys decide to study abroad, or Shota, in your case, come here for 4 years? Um, and why in Nebraska?
Well, I have decided to study at UNK because they have an aviation major and it's actually an relatively economical flight school compared to other flight schools in the United States.
Mhm.
And also, while as a UNK student, obtaining a pilot's license while pursuing a bachelor's degree, it's like hitting two birds with only one stone, which is
Mhm.
really effective. And overall, I enjoyed the experience very much as a college student here. in spite of the difficulties of constantly hitting the books of both my classes and aviation related.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, what I like to do outside from hitting the books is that I can build relations with many friends from all over the world, especially all thanks to Christian Student Fellowship. They
Mm-hmm.
have that kind of ministry where we all can get the chance to connect with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, as a college student, it keeps myself really busy within this 24 hours a day, which I do find it better than not doing anything.
Okay. Yeah, no, Christian Student Fellowship, the international one, is really cool because that's kind of why we're talking right now, is because we have an opportunity to get connected in that way.
Yep, all thanks to CSF.
Yeah, there you go. Jill, why did you decide to study abroad?
I always wanted to study abroad, especially in America, because I just knew America from all the movies, and I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool to make that experience. And my hometown university has a partnership program with UNK.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I decided to go to Nebraska. We also have a partnership university in New York City and I think in Alabama. But I lived in a very big city in Germany for 3 years, and that's why I felt like I don't want to go to New York City because I would like to be there for 1 week or 2 weeks, but that would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the program for my major here at UNK, so that's why I decided to come here.
Cool. Um, have you have you guys have you enjoyed it? Is it fun? Has it been hard at all?
It was really fun, but it was hard for me to do all my homework and all of the assignments in English because it took me so long when I had to write something. I knew, okay, when I could do it in German, I would finish this assignment in 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
but to do it in English, it took like 2 more hours to finish everything. So it was really hard, and especially my second semester. So the semester was very, very busy, but I enjoyed my time, and it was, yeah, just cool to make that experience and to get to know new people. And I really like the system of the university in the States because in Germany it's more, so it's not very practical. And here I learned so many things here that I would never learn in Germany. So I enjoyed it.
Like what? You said so many things you've learned.
The problem is that the universities in Germany, it's they're more bigger classes, and you just have to write papers. And so for my major, for sports communication, I need to learn how to make a radio show or something like that. But in Germany, you would just listen to your teacher and never do it.
Oh, okay.
So you cannot really practice. At least you're at a private university. So for my bachelor, I was at the private university and I learned so many things. But for my graduate study, I was like at the normal university in Germany, and yeah, I just had to listen to all my teachers, and I felt like I don't really learn a lot of things, and that's why it was really I really enjoyed to come here and to learn more, but I really need to do my job.
Yeah. Wait, so did you say you already have a bachelor's?
Yeah, I'm
You
a
do?
graduate student.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
I didn't know
do.
that. I've been here this whole time. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, Shota, fun and versus
Yeah.
hard.
Um I believe I already answered that question.
Did you?
Like,
I don't remember.
overall, I enjoy this experience as a UNK student very much, but the only thing I find hard is that as both a student who has to constantly take class and do assignments, I also need to, you know, hit the books of that are aviation related, which affects my knowledge in order to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to handle two things at once, which makes my day really busy.
I see.
But sometimes I always prefer taking a break by constantly connecting with other people, and all thanks to CSF internationals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, CSF
Cool.
is great.
It has been awesome. What advice would you give someone if they were going to study abroad? Just like one or two tips for what might make it a little bit easier.
Well, if I were to give advice to people who are thinking of studying abroad, yes, feel free to study abroad if you really want to. Because as you study abroad, you'll have a chance to live in a complete different world, which your overall life experience might not work in that specific country. It's like, I'm not quite sure if you own fish in a fish tank, but it's just like moving that fish itself in a complete different water tank. And you know how a fish feels, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might be hard at first, as you might experience culture shocks, or in some cases, language difficulties or living difficulties. But I'll tell you what, a human being is an animal of habit. So once you are in a complete different situation, but you're in that kind of situation or environment for numerous days, as you get used to it, then there you go. That's a big win.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be taken as or thought as a very big opportunity to gain independence, patience, discipline, and most importantly, a feeling of gratitude.
Cool. Jill, what advice do you have?
I think I would give the same advice because it's just a great experience, and to study abroad, you can just do it while you're a student in your own country. So it's like the only chance to make that experience. So I would also recommend to go somewhere else and to get to know a new culture and new people, and it's just a really really great experience that you will never forget. And yes,
Cool. If you could study abroad anywhere else besides America, would you do that? Like, where else would you go? Or even just to visit another country, not even for study abroad.
I would like to go to Australia because I like the nature and all those animals, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would like to see it.
Australia's got some awesome animals. We got like bears. That's all we got.
Yes.
Shota, where else would you go if you could study abroad somewhere else?
Well, since I've already have experience studying in at least three different countries, Thailand, Japan, and the States, I'm not quite sure if I were to study abroad for the fourth time.
Okay, so you not
Well,
study
if I
abroad. How
were
about just visit a country?
visit a country,
Yeah.
I want to visit South Africa.
Ooh. Okay. Why South Africa?
Well, that is the only country. Well, obviously, that is the first off, that is the only country or the continent I've never been to. And what mostly stood me out in South Africa was that obviously it's an English speaking country, and that country was famous for the 2010 FIFA World Cup,
Mm.
and dur- during the football live games I watched in South Africa, I thought like there were some scenes not just about the soccer game, but also maybe some part of South African cultures which really inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought want to visit there someday. And also, yeah, Johannesburg as well, such as the how to say, which is famous for the big zoos over there, animals of natures and everything. It looks beautiful.
Mm. Awesome.
So yeah, which is why I want to visit South Africa someday.
Gotcha.
What about you, Kurt?
Oh no. Uh okay, well first off, where do you think I should study abroad? Cuz I might. I don't know for sure. Should I study abroad in your home countries, or I don't know. Would it be worth it?
It depends on what you like. I mean, I think it doesn't matter in which country you would go. In every country, you would make a different experience and learn a lot of new things. But it depends on if you like to be in a very warm area or I don't know.
Okay.
So
Shota, what do you think?
Um well, I have to agree with that. I have no other opinions to be honest.
Okay. So, I've thought about visiting other countries a lot, and there are two I know off the top of my head. I thought there was a third one I wanted to go to, but now I can't remember, so probably didn't want to go to it that much. Um, I've always wanted to go to Ireland. I think it's really cool scenery in Ireland, and I've also wanted to go to Japan. Um, there's some for scenery, and also just I really like a lot of Japanese culture, like because like in America we have like anime and things like that, and I don't know. I think just Japan is just a really unique culture. I will say though, out of all the languages that I hear at CSF, I think German sounds like freaking awesome. And so I would probably go to Germany just to hear people talk in German. Like it sounds close to a like American to American. It sounds close to English. Um like but like different words, and it's just like a lot um deeper sounds, like richer sounds. It just makes me be like, "Oh, I sound so stupid. Why can't I just talk like the Germans? They sound so cool." But other than that, I don't know for sure. But I would go just to hear people talk, probably.
you should learn more German.
I mean, I've been trying a little bit. Like I came to your class a couple times,
Yeah,
but
it's
but now
true.
you're going away, so I'm like, and I got it on the Duolingo, like the app on the phone to try and learn. And I've done that a little bit. I've done that. The only language I've learned a decent bit is Spanish. I've learned that. I studied that for like 2 years, um, which isn't a lot, but it's a little bit. And then beyond that, like maybe like a few weeks of like French and German and Japanese, but like not hardly that much at all. But I love language. Language is very cool.
Hey Kurt,
Yeah.
when I was in high school, there is one German artist or yeah, group band that I listen to. Jill, I think you might know, but if you wanna like hear more German language, I'll recommend this. I'll recommend this artist. It's called Rammstein.
Hmm.
Do you know, Jill?
Can you say it again?
Rammstein, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Oh, it's Rammstein. But
Oh,
yeah,
Rammstein. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Rammstein.
It's very famous band in Germany.
Let me look it
You
up.
do you recommend that to Kurt?
Rammstein.
Yes. So the singer has a very unique voice. It's very deep but
Yeah, very deep.
yeah,
Huh.
His German sounds really rich, as you mentioned. So, yeah,
yes.
recommend. I recommend it.
John and I, my roommate, he likes to listen to a lot of interesting things, and so we started listening to German rap, and that was kind of fun. It was interesting,
To which
but
artist?
I have no idea. It's just they would start rapping, I'd be like, "Whoa, this is so cool." um, we gotta start wrapping up here soon. I do want to talk about one other thing, which is kind of the elephant in the room, right? Is that we are all connected over podcasts, like over just computer. We're not meeting in person. And that's because of all the coronavirus stuff going around, um, which is kind of affecting a lot of us a lot of different ways. Um, so I just, I want to know, just to give people perspective, because I'm sure you guys are at least somewhat aware. Um, First off, how is coronavirus affecting you, um, and how is it affecting like your family and your country?
Because of coronavirus, I had to cancel all my spring break travel plans, and I was so excited to go to California again. Um, and yeah, actually, I would have stayed until May, but now I have to go back to Germany in 2 days because I feel it's better for me to go back now because I don't know how the situation in May is. So maybe they will cancel all the flights from the US to Germany, and so I don't have an opportunity to go back. That's why I decided for myself that I have to go as soon as possible. But the situation in Germany right now is very bad. I think there are more than 23,000 people with the virus, and you're not allowed to go outside. You can just go outside when you have to go to work or when you have to go grocery shopping, and you cannot be outside with more than one person. So you can just be two persons, but you cannot take a walk just in your free time. You really have to stay at home and just go outside for all of those important things like buying groceries or go to work. And so I'm a little bit scared to go back because I feel like in Carney it's safer. Um, but I'm also afraid to travel by plane for a very long time because there are so many people. And yeah, actually, I think you should not travel right now, but I have to.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm a little bit scared because my mom will pick me up from the airport, and I don't know if I will get the virus during my travel, and then my mom would get it too because we're so close in the car together. And that's just one thing that really scares me. And I also scared that my flight will be canceled because it was very hard for me to find a flight to Germany. And so that's why I hope I can just go back on Friday without any trouble and problems. Yeah.
Jill, sorry, 23,000 or 2,300?
1,000.
That is way more than what Japan or Thailand number of cases are right now.
So I actually I have a somebody posted it earlier. There's an app that tells you the number of cases in each country. Um, where right now,
What is the app called?
I can maybe tell you about it afterward, Shota. I don't know for
Okay.
sure. Um, According to this, it says Germany is at 29,000. But yeah, Shota, it says Thailand is only like 700 and Japan is only
Yeah,
like a
only
thousand.
three digits.
Yeah. So is it
And Japan has only 1,000. So
is it
yeah.
like has is it because your country has like more been more prepared for that, you think, or why?
Well, to be honest, I have no idea, but once the virus itself started spread from China, looks like as if Japan and Thailand both were prepared for it right away because they're like really close to China. But
Hmm.
actually, it's kind of a sad story. But in Japan, as mentioned, there are at least 1,000 cases of coronavirus with at least 40 deaths because of it. In fact, Japan itself is the second country to report a confirmed coronavirus case outside China.
Hmm.
And the first case was mentioned on January 16th. And in Thailand, it's the country that reported the very first case of confirmed coronavirus outside China. So Thailand was the first country, Japan was the second country outside China.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's really unfortunate that both my home countries were the first two countries that got affected.
And Kurt, you said, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you said the app says that in Germany are right now 29,000?
Yeah, that's what it says on the app.
Okay,
I don't know if that.
because I just checked the number of the cases like 3 days ago. So yeah, and there it was 23,000. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's getting more and more, and it's very
Yeah,
scary.
I'd imagine it grows, but I don't know necessarily that much. So
Looks like the virus itself started from Asia, moving all the way west to Middle East, Europe, and now in the States.
yeah, America right now has the most out of your two countries. So according to this, America is at 46,000 right now confirmed cases. Uh,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, but
But America is so much bigger than Germany, you know.
that's very
So
true. Yeah,
Right, right.
and
and it
that's
depends
so. I
on where you
think
are too. Like if you're in a big city,
yeah,
small city.
yeah. I think in New York City it's really bad.
Yeah, as far as deaths go, I think we're at around 500 deaths out of those 45,000. But yeah, a lot of those are in New York has it the worst, I think. New York, and then California had it really bad. I don't know as far as if they've had as many deaths. I know they've had a lot of cases, but I think they're starting to California has a lot more restrictions maybe right now. But I don't know, and it depends. Like some states, because you have the total right America as a nation has like the federal government, which can regulate some things, um, and so we each state kind of has to report to that in a lot of ways. But there are some states, like I think Illinois, has shut down a lot more, and then yeah, like California and New York, or I don't know. It's weird though because I don't feel like America really prepared for it very well at all. Um, I think we kind of thought it was one of those things where it's like, oh, that's just on the other side of the world. That'll never come to us. And then when it finally did, we were like, oh no, like, what do we do now? And then we have people, who they start buying out grocery stores and things like before they even know what's actually going on. They just start panicking a lot. And so right now in where I'm at in Nebraska, there are a couple. I think there's either one or two I've heard confirmed cases in Kearney, um, and so I've heard lots of rumors where maybe Carney is going to shut down. I don't know if that's true or not. It's rumors, but like I don't know. We'll have to see. We're still kind of in like a semi quarantine, so like people still go out and stuff. It's just like it's more encouraged to stay at home, like if you can, kind of. But yeah, it's really awful situation. Is it so like my family personally, like my two grandparents are like my two sides of my grandparents probably are both at risk. I think I would say most old people generally are. Um, I have a really young nephew who has some immune issues. He's just got a bunch of different things where I'm still not totally sure how it works because I've heard it's mostly the older you are, the bigger the problem. But if a younger person if it could affect them, I've kind of heard both ways, like as far as how severe it is. So I am a little bit worried for like my nephew because he already had a bunch of respiratory problems like earlier in the year, and he can't really. He's only like 4 or 5 months old, I think. I don't remember. I'm a bad uncle, but like it, it's just he can't really go through another bout. It just would be hard on his body. So I don't know. Do you guys have stuff like that with your own family or things you'd be worried about?
In my family, I'm really worried about my grandparents because, yeah, they are old and they cannot go outside to buy groceries, so my mom will do it for them because they really just stay inside and they do nothing because they're really scared. Because, I mean, so when I would get the virus, I would probably survive it,
Yeah.
but when my grandparents would get it, they would probably not. And so I think for all the older people and also for the people who have another sickness, it must be way more scary because you really have you are just afraid that you get the virus and you will die. And yeah, it's just a crazy situation. And so when I came here, I never thought that I had to leave Nebraska because of a virus. And it just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's in every country and it's really scary. And I just hope it will be over soon and everything will go into normal again.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting any of this to happen. Is also sudden, it feels like, and it just grew so fast. Shota, do you have anything like with your family or whatever? Or I guess your countries have been more prepared, um, but anything with your family?
Well, yeah, answering your question, our country is more prepared as before the coronavirus outbreak happened, many Japanese suffered from flu
Mm-hmm.
during this time of the year between January to probably beginning of March, which is why all Japanese, no, not all, but most Japanese have a habit of like washing their hands and gargle frequently right after they get get in the house from outside. I think that is why they were like all prepared in advance, which is why there are like only thousands of cases right now. And
Mm-hmm.
that is like a really small number compared to the current European countries or America.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes with Thailand too. Many Thai people keep themselves healthy or clean by frequently eating something spicy. So chili has, or something spicy like jalapeno, I suppose, I think could have some effects of fighting against germs in the body.
Hmm.
So we have that kind of culture of fighting against virus or disease since long time ago. That's how we prepare for the virus. And fortunately, on the bright side, none of my family got it. And also, that doesn't mean I'm not worried. I'm also worried about my grandparents as well because they are really old, and I was worried if my grandma would go buy groceries, she might get it
Mm-hmm.
at some point. But actually, my I'm not worried that much because my grandma always wash her hands right after she gets out of the house or buy groceries, and has that kind of habit since I was a kid, or obviously before I was born. So her chance, I think, of suffering from coronavirus symptoms would be around 50% or so.
Hmm.
But still, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard situation. I'll have to. Hopefully, I can still talk with Johnson to kind of figure out what's going on in Africa too, because we kind of have the Europe, Asia, Africa sort of spread out across the world as far as getting different perspectives. But yeah, it's just for me as like for me as a Christian, this is kind of things where things are really awful, but it's kind of like it kind of removes a lot of distractions that normally like affect me. So like I spend a lot of time, thinking about myself, being selfish, or um, I say that I trust God, but in reality, I trust like the money in my bank account, or my friends or things like that. And this for me, like this virus is something that I don't have any control over. I can control a little bit like how it spreads and stuff. Like I can take precautions. Um, it's kind of one of those things where it just burns away everything else though that I would normally put my trust in, or even if not even realizing I was, but I'm kind of left with I trust God that He's got a plan and it'll work out in the end. But that's a doesn't make it easy at all. Um, but yeah, I don't want to end on on a bad note. Um, and I had another thing I wanted to do, uh, but I decided I'm not going to do that instead. So, as one last thing to talk about, actually, rephrase first. Two things. First, do you guys have any questions for me or any other things that you wanted to talk about? Because it is getting late, and so I want you guys to be able to go to bed and stuff. But I also wanted to give you opportunity. If not, we'll just move on.
No.
Okay. Shota, you want to just move on?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. Last thing, real quick. Fun thing, mostly because you'll laugh at me. Um, I want to learn how to say something cool in your guys' language. So What's a I don't know, what's a cool phrase or just something interesting to say?
I can share one that is in Thai language.
Oh dear. Okay.
เรารักในหลวง
Okay. What does that mean?
We love the monarchy,
We love
or
Oh,
we love the king.
is that what you have to say during your pledge of the allegiance or whatever?
Actually, no.
No, that's just a
I
thing.
mean, we only use that phrase. I mean, that phrase is widely used when it's the king's birthday or when our new king is actually elected and
Mhm.
on a special occasion.
Okay. Got you. Oh, sorry. Sidebar real quick. So you guys have a monarchy. America, we have like president. Jill, what's do you guys also have a president or is it a prime minister?
So in Germany, we have a democracy, and we have like, yeah, we have a president, and our like the highest one is the president, but we also have the Bundeskanzlerin, like Angela Merkel, and she's like the one who goes to all the meetings and is in front of the cameras and everything.
Okay. All right. Quick sidebar. Okay, back to Shota. Say it again? Rao something.
เรารัก
Rao rock.
รักในหลวง
Rao rock nai wong
ในหลวง
nai long.
It's really hard to pronounce. I
I
understand,
don't
but
keep trying. Say it again.
เรารักในหลวง
Rao rock nai luang. Was that close?
Kind of on track, but
Would you understand me yet? If I came up to you in the street, would you understand?
maybe some
Maybe.
people
Maybe.
might understand you.
Okay.
But I understand you
Well, yeah,
because I
'cause you
taught you.
taught me. All right. Rao rock nai luang.
ในหลวง
What's the last word? That's the one I'm struggling with.
ในหลวง
Nai luang.
ในหลวง yeah ในหลวง yeah
Nai luang. Is that right?
Mhm. Yep, that's
Rao
right.
rock nai luang.
ในหลวง yep
Okay. Yes. Long live the king, or whatever it was. I don't
yep
remember.
long live the king.
Okay. Nice. Jill, you got anything interesting?
So if you want to be very cool and
Yes, I want you to be very cool.
and when you talk to a friend, you want to say hi in a very cool way, you would say "Was geht, Alter?"
Okay.
Was geht, Alter?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
good.
Shota, you can do it. Okay, wait, say it again.
So, was
Was
geht,
geht,
Alter?
Alter?
Was
Yeah.
geht, Alter?
Yeah.
Was geht, Alter? Is that right?
Yeah, was geht, Alter?
Okay, what does that mean? Is it just
It's just like to say, hey, what's going on, but in a very cool way. And you would just say it to like younger people and friends. So you would not say it to your parents or to teachers.
come into class? Was geht,
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I could maybe give you guys like a weird word or something, or maybe like slang or something. I don't know. Which would you rather have for learning something in America? You guys are smart. You already know everything in America anyway. So, have you guys ever heard the "What's up, homies"? If you heard that before,
Yeah.
What's up, homie?
"What's up, homies"?
Oh yeah, I heard of that,
Okay.
but haven't thought of the meaning.
Okay, or maybe like I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of like every slang word I know and combining them into one sentence, but it's not working very well. Something like, what or what's poppin', homies? Check out my new crib or something like that. If that would be, you could try and say that. There you go. Shota, do you even know what does that even mean? Do you think, Shota?
What's up, homies?
What's poppin', homies? Have you seen my new crib?
Oh, what's poppin', homies? Homies like a person who you refer to either as a family member, no, not a family member, but a really close friend who you consider a family member or a group member. And what's poppin' is like what is going on or what's popping up around you or what's happening around you,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Have you heard that last part before? Check out my crib. Do you know what that
Oh,
means?
check out my crib.
Yeah.
So my crib is like my home, or is it?
Mm-hmm.
So what is crib?
Well, I mean, literally, like a crib, is like what, like a baby sleeps
My
in a crib, right? But
yeah, but in this
in
meaning, it's
slang,
like my
it's like your house.
yeah, my home. Yeah.
Yeah. Just no one around here would actually say that, but those are technically that is a sentence you could say. It'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? Have you seen my house?" That would be how you would say it normally. But I don't know. I can't think of any weird like English words that you guys don't already know. Like, have you heard the word juxtapose?
I believe you already know this phrase, Kurt. It's
Mm-hmm.
on the fleek.
On the fleek, isn't that? I don't actually know if I know that. That's like, isn't that something like it's on point or like it looks good or something like that? I have no idea, dude. I grew up and I grew up under a rock. I don't know anything about slang.
On the fleek means like you look great, you look fashionable, or you mostly say that's someone who is wearing a suit or something really formal.
Mm-hmm.
Or I remember someone saying to one of the MCs at at the International Foods Festival that he's on the fleek. Like he's wearing a
Mm.
really cool suit and a necktie and yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Can someone of you tell me what does you tryna kick it means?
Trying to kick it.
Yeah.
Kick it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So is it like, do you want
uh,
to hang out?
yeah, yeah. So if someone were to ask you like, "Hey, you want to kick it at my place?" Like that would be like, "Do you want to hang out with me?"
Okay.
We got and see, I'm not the person to ask because I don't know all of this anyway. So
Because you're
some
from
stuff
Nebraska.
I know. In Nebraska, okay, Nebraska slang is "ope." We say that word all the time. It's just "ope." Like whenever I
Oh,
bump into you, "ope." I it anything like
Oh,
the store's closed. Like, "ope." I guess the store's closed. Or
I like that word.
do you know Gangnam Style? Op, Oppa Gangnam
Oh,
Style.
right.
You said op. That actually reminded me of that song. Yeah.
if you guys know Mary Poppins, right? The
Mm-hmm.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yes.
Can you say that word? Have you practiced that one?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
So
It was alright, but
that's okay. No, you would never use that word anyway. Shota, do you know how to say that word?
Sorry, say what?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh no 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 no
No,
no
try it.
no! I need to
I
read it
found one
first.
that you don't know. You have to try.
I have a song stuck now.
Oh, I'm
Say it
sorry.
again. Say it again.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Super Cali. Oh, that's too long. You should type it in the chat and then I'll try to read it.
Oh, okay. Hang on, real quick. Um, I have no idea how to spell it.
But what is the meaning of
Oh
this
come
long?
on.
Kurt, what is the meaning?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Good question. It is a word. As far as I know, it's just nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. which I think they
Okay.
talk about in the song. It's like was it supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and it's like something about the sound of the word is quite atrocious. Like it's a made up word.
Yeah.
Shota, are you gonna try?
Of course.
Yeah.
I typed it into the where the audio is recording.
Okay. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Spot
Did I
on.
say it right?
No, but it's good. That's what I was wanting.
Well, the first part was good.
Yeah, you were doing really well, and then the last like half, like you just kind of freestyling. That's
How do you
okay.
pronounce the C? The K or the S?
The what?
How do you pronounce the C in the docious? Is it K or S?
Oh,
Docious or docious?
docious.
Docious.
Yeah.
So supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Hang on. Supercalifragilistic. Oh, I might have spelled it wrong. That might be why.
You did spell it wrong.
Supercalifragilistic. Oh no! See, that's why I sounded so bad. See, no one knows how to spell it though.
Yeah.
There's an extra. Let me
You're
try one
making
more
me
time.
say something which you cannot
Hang on.
spell it? That's not
No one can
English.
spell it. Supercalifragilistic. Hang on. Expialidocious. All right, here's my second attempt. See what pops up this time when you say it.
Supercalifragilistic. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
No, you were doing good, man.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I'm gonna say that you passed in that one. I have no idea how to spell it. The first one was definitely my bad. I left out like one syllable, so that's why it was so wrong. But I don't even I can't even remember what. Okay, what one last time? So it was Ron. What was the phrase? I gotta remember this. Shota, what was it? Ra something.
Rao.
Rao.
Rock.
Rao Rock Nya Leong or something. Is that close?
Rao Rock Nai Luang.
Rao Rock Nai Long. Okay,
Yeah.
and then Jill's was Was
geht, Alter?
Was geht, Alter?
Ja, Alter.
Was geht, Alter? Something
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you. I think we've had enough fun. It's getting late. Any last thoughts?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you for this wonderful time.
Shota, I was gonna have someone else be on for you, but he couldn't make it. So thank you for stepping up.
No worries. Always love to help.
Thank you. All right. I guess farewell. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Jill, you're going back to Germany pretty soon.
Yes,
thank you for everything.
Thank you
and
too.
for all the time we spent, and have a nice flight.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
We're gonna be praying for you and get a safe flight and all that jazz.
Tschüss.
Thanks.
Tschüss.
Yay! Yeah, tschüss.
What's that? I don't know.
That's goodbye in German.
Yes, it's.
What is it?
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Okay.
It's
Tschüss.
tschüss. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey guys, Kurt here. Just wanted to clarify a couple things that were mentioned throughout the podcast. I need to make a few corrections, mostly due to my own ignorance, which is not really a big surprise, but it's the way life goes sometimes. First of all, in regards to the colors on the American flag and their meaning, Yeah, I had no idea what I was talking about. I could not, for the life of me, remember what we talked about in high school. So, based on a small amount of Google research, the various colors have to do more along the lines of innocence and valor and justice and things along those lines. But I would encourage you to look those up on your own if you are really interested. Secondly, in regards to writing down your race on various legal documents, I must admit that that is something I really don't think about when I fill things out. I just kind of do it naturally, so it doesn't even really cross my mind. So if you are interested in that, I would encourage you to look that up more as far as what's the point of asking those questions in regards to race and ethnicity and things along those lines. And I must apologize for the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious by saying it is a nonsense word because according to Google it says it is an adjective that means extraordinarily good or wonderful. But quite frankly, I don't really feel like bothering to read through the lyrics of the song, so maybe there's some more meaning in there, but I'll leave that up to you as far as whether or not you want to research it, as with the other things discussed. And yes, please do not murder me. I am well aware that the S in Illinois is silent. It is not Illinois. And really, the last thing I needed to update was just the numbers in regards to coronavirus. As I said earlier, this was recorded roughly 3 weeks ago. I'm actually recording this outro about 2 weeks before the release of this episode. I don't really want to just give you numbers because by the time of this episode, they will be outdated again. Just know that it really has been growing exponentially. It's very dangerous. The US by far has the most amount of cases. Germany is also up there still quite a bit. At the time of this recording, the US has the most, and Germany has the fourth most. Japan and Thailand, again, numbers have been growing, but they still are very low relative to the rest of the world. In regards to how things have changed for the three of us in this episode, Jill did make it back to Germany. Shota, I believe, is still planning on staying in America. And I am also, obviously I live here, but I did move back home recently. And by the time this episode goes out, I will be out of a 2-week quarantine just as a safety precaution that my family had me take. Shota did some traveling, I think, so he also went into quarantine, but he'll be out of quarantine by the time this episode's out. But yeah, I mean, things are still really crazy in the world right now. So please be responsible. I know it's not the funnest thing, but all the talk that they're saying about social distancing and things like that, even if you don't have it, we're kind of in a better safe than sorry situation right now. So it's really not that much of an inconvenience to, who knows how long this will play out, but at least for the next month or so, just stay home. It's just better that way. Don't go out unless you have to. My home state of Nebraska is actually one of the lowest states right now in regards to cases of coronavirus. I believe at the time of this recording, we are the 7th lowest. Good on you, Nebraskans, for being as responsible as you can. And shout out to just all the people here and across the world who are working hard to kind of get this situation as manageable as possible. Yeah, that's really all I got as far as comments with that goes. I did want to bring up, like I said earlier, Johnson's audio did not work, so we didn't get that perspective from Africa that we were hoping for. But in the end, what I decided to do is there's a South Korean student named Sejun who I was going to have be on the podcast instead of Shota, but he couldn't make it work. So I just had Jill and Shota for this talk. But then I also did an individual interview with both Sejun and Johnson. They were about 40 minutes each, just to keep giving you more perspective on different cultures. We didn't talk near as much about study abroad or the virus or anything like that, but it was still a lot of good perspectives to figure out. South Korea and America both have a very interesting history, so that was really cool to learn more about. Johnson has lived in a couple different countries in Africa, but really it's just the culture in Africa is so much different than America in most places, so it's a really enlightening thing to listen to. Yeah, that's what's coming next time. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.